I got this Coachman Catalina. It's dry weight 74, 76, and 36 foot 2 inches long. They keep mounting these breakaway cable boxes too far back so they don't reach up to the truck. I don't know why they keep doing that, but I don't see any damage on it other than it just being a little bit dirty. It's gonna be fun getting it out of here though. They got it like cockeyed in here, and then let's see, I have like no room to pull forward, and it's super tight up against the other trailer. Not super tight, I could fit at least, but it's gonna be really tight getting it out of here. I'm gonna have to go right even though I don't have a lot of room, and then this trailer's gonna be in my way trying to swing it around, but I can't go left, I don't think. Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna be able to go left, so should be fun. I'm gonna do a better inspection once I get this thing out. I think it's fine though, other than just being a little dirty. I don't know what, oh, there's like a little satellite up top. But yeah, that's the trailer. If it wasn't so cockeyed, I could probably just go back with it, but I guess that would be my way anyways. Yeah, like I said, just dirty. Otherwise, I don't see any damage to it, so that's good. All right, so we had a little bit of a change of plans for the last load of this week. I had mentioned earlier in the week that I was gonna run like my longest run ever. It was gonna be, I think it's 550 miles loaded, and it paid out $1,100. So that changed. Yesterday, my dispatcher reached out to see if I could give that load to another driver that was looking to like get back west, which I can't remember what the name of the town is, but it's in western Wisconsin. So he's trying to get back home, I think, to that western part of Wisconsin. So it didn't bother me at all, which it probably worked out for the better, because I wasn't able to leave like super early to go get the load this morning or go pick it up like yesterday and bring it home. So it was gonna be probably impossible for me to make the run today all in one day. So I ended up getting one going to Sheboygan, which is like half the distance, so about, which is fine. So I mean, it only pays out I think like $570, so obviously it's a lot less money, but it's a much easier run on a Sunday. So like I said, I was totally cool with it. I mean, I was kind of wanting to run the long one just to do it, but at the same time, it was going to be a lot. It was going to be hard, and the schedule just wasn't working out the way it needed to for me. Worked a little bit later yesterday with my business than I was planning to, so I wasn't able to like go pick up that load. So I did, and then this morning my wife had a breakfast thing with some of her friends, so I didn't even leave my house until like 11:30. It's now, I think it's 3:15 Chicago time. I went to Coachman to get this Coachman Catalina 36 foot 2 inch travel trailer. So I should be dropping off up in Sheboygan between like 6 and 6:30 p.m. Should put me home around like 9:30 is what I'm hoping. I am gonna have to like unlock the gate up there and do all that, so it's gonna take a little bit of extra time, but nothing too crazy. You know, the one benefit to the other trailer was I was picking up at our storage lot in Elkhart, which is a little bit closer, less distance for me than going to Coachman. You know, so usually I can save at least like a half hour, 45 minutes going that way. Probably would have been a little longer today, or a little bit more savings today too, because I had issue getting this trailer. what happened was I got there, gave him my number like I always do. The gentleman that was working the security building, he's like, oh, well, it's either in this lot or that lot, basically. It was 2 different lots. And then he said, I'm going to have my coworker meet you down at the one lot to unlock the gates. So I said, okay. So I'll go to that one first with your coworker, unlock it, see if it's in there. So I saw a little SUV, but it didn't say security. I don't know if it was the lady's personal vehicle and she just chose to drive that instead of, because their security trucks are pretty ratty, so maybe she was just choosing to drive her own vehicle. But I let her get in front of me and I followed, and then she pulled off into a lot that wasn't the lot that I was supposed to go to, and it wasn't a gated one. So I thought, well, maybe that wasn't the person that I was supposed to be following. So I just drove down to the lot. There's two gates, they're both locked. I drove to the first one, nobody was there, it wasn't unlocked or anything, so I drove to the next one. Same deal. So I sat there for a little bit, waiting, nobody came. I drove back down. That person wasn't there anymore, and then I saw that she was fixing some caution tape that was across the parking lot. So I stopped, I pulled over, and I asked her, I said, are you the one that's supposed to be unlocking the Freedom Yard for me? And she gave me a little bit of an attitude, where she said, well, nobody told me to unlock anything for you, and I'm not going to do anything I'm not told to do. So I explained it to her, and I said, well, your coworker said that he was sending somebody down to unlock it, so I don't know if that's you, but he said that, my trailer should be there or another lot, and she didn't really say anything. So I was like, well, should I go back and talk to him, or should I go to the other lot? And or I was like, can you unlock it for me? She's like, well, I can, but I'm in the middle of doing this right now. I'm like, okay. She's like, you should go check the other lot. So I didn't know where the 300 building was. I didn't realize it's not on the premises. You got to go out into town. And so I ended up driving around looking for it, couldn't find it. So then by the time I make it back up to the security office, she's up there too, talking to him. So then she asked me what number I was looking for, and I told her, and she said, okay, I'll go check the Freedom lot for you. So she was a little bit more willing to help at this point. And then she said, you go to the 300 and check that. And I said, I don't know where 300 is. I thought I did. So she told me how to get there. She gave me the wrong directions, but I don't think she meant to do that. She just, instead of telling me to go left, she told me to go right. So it took me a minute to find it. But I found it. The unit was not out there. So then I kind of went back, and I saw she was parked outside the gates at the Freedom lot waiting for me. So then she told me, where to grab the trailer from. And then you can see in the short video I had that, the trailer is pretty packed in there, kind of weird angle. I was able to get it out with a little bit of maneuvering, but definitely not ideal getting out of there. That's one time when, it would pay a little bit of a benefit to have a shorter bed, but it is what it is. Got it out of there. I had to mark up on their sheet that the unit was dirty, because I don't want to get blamed for it. So I didn't see any other issues, just that it was dirty. So nothing too crazy, but I marked it up just so that we know. Got on the road, headed to Sheboygan now. I was thinking about bringing it home and delivering it tomorrow, but then I wouldn't get paid for it this week. And then this coming week, I'm going back to Florida. So originally I was going to try to run Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but I got some work with my business. So I think I'm going to end up running Monday a load, and then I'll probably pick a load up Tuesday evening and then deliver it Wednesday evening. So that's kind of my tentative game plan. I thought about maybe moving all my work to one day during the week, like to Wednesday, but with my business, and then just running Monday, Tuesday. and then I could even potentially do one like late Wednesday night, but I don't know if I want to do that. If I don't do like a full run on that Wednesday night, then I wouldn't benefit as far as like more loads going out. I would just have all my work on one day, and I'd be able to run during the day instead of during the evening to do a camper run. So I gotta decide, but for sure I already requested a load for tomorrow from my dispatcher, so he's gonna send me one. I didn't really ask for anything in particular, so if it's a long one, I'm gonna have to wake up early, leave real early. If it's a shorter run, then it won't be a big deal. I just gotta try to be home at a certain time tomorrow evening because my wife's gotta work late. So we'll see what he sends me. Also, I could just pick it up, bring it home, wait for my wife to get home, then deliver it. So that's an option too. So I had a bunch of options, but it's looking like I'm probably only gonna end up with 2 loads this week coming up. So, which is fine. I just, I try to do 3 or 4 loads just to make a little extra money, but it's probably gonna be 2 loads this week, and then I've got like some work lined up for my business. So, nothing too crazy, but we'll get it done. Then I'm going to Florida, Disney World for 4 days, Thursday through Sunday, and then I'll be back to running again, the following week. And I don't think I have any other vacations planned until I start camping, probably sometime in May, maybe middle to end of May. I'll start doing some camping trips once the weather gets a little bit nicer. So, still kind of thinking about doing the 5th wheel thing. Trading my travel trailer or whatever. I noticed I drove past, so I bought my camper at Camping World Direct, which is right there in Middlebury, and I always pass by it. They always have a bunch of units out there. The whole lot was completely empty. It kind of looks like they might have shut down Camping World Direct and they're just doing Camping World. I am not a fan of Camping World in general, but Camping World Direct was actually really nice to deal with. If you don't know what that is, or maybe was at this point, I don't know if it's still going to be around, but that was where you picked up the unit in Middlebury yourself, and you didn't have to pay the transport. Kind of funny for me to say that when I'm in transporting, but you saved, it was actually a considerable amount of money, and you didn't have to deal with the Camping World stores themselves, which, if anybody knows Camping World, they've got a pretty bad reputation. So the way it worked out was like you have a set price, that there's no negotiating or anything, but you save the transport fee, and there was a couple other fees that weren't added. I basically saved about $10,000, I think, buying through Camping World Direct and picking it up myself. You don't get the whole like rundown of how to hook everything up and use. You get a very brief rundown. There isn't salespeople. You just deal with if you're financing it as a finance manager or whatever, you sign the paperwork through them. There's only like 2 or 3 people working in the entire facility, and you kind of on your own hooking it up and everything like that. But I don't know, it was kind of nice. I drove down to Indiana, my wife and I. This was before I started doing any kind of transporting, and we kind of spent the day in the Middlebury area checking out some of like the Amish shops and restaurants and stuff, which is pretty cool. And then we picked up the camper and left, because you set like a certain appointment time that you're going to pick up at. I was really happy with the experience, and unfortunately so I have a Heartland Eddie Bauer camper, and you can only get those through Camping World. Otherwise, I would 100% shop somewhere else, maybe the dealerships that we work with. And my wife wants the 5th wheel Eddie Bauer, so our only option is Camping World. And if Camping World Direct is not going to be around, I don't even know that I would buy one right now. I'd maybe just hold on to what we have, just because I don't want to deal with the Camping World salespeople, to be honest with you. But yeah, that was just interesting when I drove by today to see that they didn't have any units, and it looked like the building was shut down. So as far as I know, that was the only Camping World Direct building too. So I'm gonna have to get on the line and check out and see if they have a website and stuff like that. But I'll possibly do a video once I drop this thing off. I'm hoping to get up there when it's still light out. And if I'm super lucky, maybe some tech guys will be working there or something, some of the mechanics, and they'll have the gates unlocked. But that's a long shot. I'm probably gonna have to unlock everything and go through all that. We'll see. If I got there a little earlier, there's a chance that somebody would be there. It seems like the last couple Sundays, people have been working, maybe just because it's coming into the busy season. But I have a feeling getting up there at 6 or 7 at night, probably going to be dealing with unlocking and locking everything back up and stuff. It just adds a little bit of time. So that's it. Kind of a little rant. Not a great experience at Coachman today, but I got out of there in about 50 minutes. I try to get in and out in about 30 or less, but it is what it is. I lost a little bit of time there. Just get home a little bit later. Okay, I got that unit delivered. It's been raining in Wisconsin here. It was like more of a light rain earlier. Now it's pouring pretty good, but I made it there just before dark, and it had stopped raining up in Sheboygan. But as soon as I came back south, it was still raining, so it must have just been a band of rain that I drove into and out of, and then back into. The wind gusts. It's been windy all day. It was like 31 mile an hour gusts all the way from Indiana. Which I definitely felt that with that 36 plus trailer. But it wasn't like too bad. Now, I'm guessing I'm getting like probably 50 mile an hour gusts because it's blowing my truck around like crazy. Luckily I'm not hooked up anymore, but it's pretty nasty. I'm wondering if I'll drive out of the rain or if it'll be raining all the way home. Should be home before 10 o'clock. I haven't gotten a load yet. My dispatcher had said he was going to give me one, so hopefully I'll get it soon. So I know what time I gotta leave tomorrow. Worst case scenario, if I don't get it till tomorrow morning sometime, I can just go home with the trailer and wait till my wife gets home from work and then take off again, which will be fine. So, but yeah, pretty uneventful. Just really windy. Didn't do great on mile per gallon. I should probably stop in southern Wisconsin and top off, but I think I'm just going to wait till tomorrow so I just get home tonight. I'll just probably fill up in Middlebury tomorrow. Probably be about 25-30 cents more a gallon, but it's pretty nasty weather. A little bit chilly out, and I just want to get home. Side note, I think my battery that I bought like a month ago is completely shot. So when I grabbed it out of my truck today, it showed it was like 75% on the. I have a case that it goes in, and it has a button you can push that tells you tells you how much charge is in the battery. So it was at like 75%, and then as soon as I put it on the tongue, strapped it down and hooked up the battery to the trailer, it didn't even have barely enough juice to get the jack all the way up. And then by the time I got to Sheboygan, the battery was completely dead. So I don't know if I can. I bought it at Dan's Hitch like a month ago. I don't know if they would honor that and replace it. But I tried to charge it up myself twice, and it's just not holding the charge. So I'm gonna check my receipt if I can find it, or check my bank statement, see when I bought it, and I'm gonna give them a call and see if they'd be willing to swap it out. If not, I'm gonna have to buy another battery. I'm surprised it only lasted. I mean, maybe it had been sitting on the shelf a while. I don't know. But yeah, it's toast. So I'm gonna try to charge up my. I'll try to charge it again. I'll probably try to charge up my small one and just use that for right now until I get that figured out. But hopefully I'll have a load for tomorrow, and we'll have a video. I'm gonna do another one for the weekly